Well, welcome back, everybody, to Raw Live. I'm Frankie J, your host, and with me is my co-host T.O., and he'll be popping up here. There he is. Welcome back, T.O., for another episode here on the 13th of July, day before Friday. So we're pulling it off. We didn't have the show on a Friday, so we're here. We made it.
We are here. Welcome, everybody, to the greatest show on Fireside. We're happy to be here as well. Hopefully you are, too. But I'm ready to go. You ready to go?
Song. I love doing this. It's my hobby. It's actually it's going to be turning in my job pretty soon. As soon as, other things happen, I'm going to be more famous than I ever anticipated. But anyways, why don't we not waste any time, Tio, and jump in on this days.
I love this show, too, because I learn a lot here. On this day, July 13th, 1851, tin is discovered.
Tin?
I'm a big tin man. I'm a big lawn guy. All our products used to be in tin. Now they put everything in plastic.
And some tin happened. Then something happened.
Some tin happened. We put everything in plastic, and now we all have cancer. 1854, U.S. forces shell San Juan in Nicaragua. Yeah.
That's a hard word to say when you're a young kid.
What, Nicaragua or San Juan?
Both.
Yeah, it is. Trying to keep it a clean show here. 1882.
The counters. Okay.
Sweet. 1882, 200 die as a train derails near Cherny, Russia. 1911, Great Britain and Japan renew their alliance. That was World War I. So they stayed on the side of the Allies, and that was why Japan was with us during that one. 1919, Boston Red Sox pitcher Carl Mays. You may remember him. He walks off the mound blaming teammates for lack of support on the field. Talk about taking the ball and going home.
Hey, sometimes I was keeping score at a hockey game one time, the beer leagues, and this goalie was getting lit up. I mean, it was about half of the third period to go, and there was 18 goals already on this guy. His team stopped skating, and he just, after the 19th, he just skated off. He left.
Yeah, I've been there.
No.
I've been there.
Where
you're getting beat pretty bad, and the other team is just continuously peppering you. But
they weren't, though. The other team actually slowed down to try to, give up in a way, and these guys were that bad that they weren't able. It wasn't a good match. But anyways, moving on.
1923, the first dinosaur egg was discovered.
Whoa.
You know where that was discovered?
No.
The Gobi Desert in Mongolia.
Really?
Yep.
And then the digging commenced.
Yeah, we're probably all part Mongolian.
Well, they did say that, and don't quote me, Ozzy Osbourne is, I guess, has been DNA tested, and it's been proven that he is part Neanderthal.
Ooh. Wow. Roy Chapman was the one who discovered that dinosaur bone, by the way. 1930, the first ever football World Cup begins in Uruguay.
Uruguay? They're not even in it still, are they?
I'm not sure. I'm not a big soccer fan.
I'm not either. You don't really hear that unless they just stink and you don't hear about them.
Uruguay, Paraguay, isn't there a bunch of...
There's a lot of ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways. If there's a will, there's a way. 1934, Babe Ruth hit his 700th home run career. Wow.
Oh, good for him.
Jeepers.
I wonder how much harder it was then. Think about it. How much harder was it then to hit a home run than it is now? Lack of technology. They did it the old school way. Babe Ruth would smoke a pack of cigars, eat a bunch of tobacco, drink a bunch of booze, and go hit 3 home runs. I mean, they don't do that now.
No, he did partake in a lot of extracurricular activities, as most did back then.
Well, they probably still do.
Well, a lot of them had actual regular jobs, and it was just a...
Oh, during that time area.
Yeah, during that era.
Well, he was making the big bucks, so he had the money to go out and act like an idiot, where his teammates had to go to work. So.
Yeah, 112 degrees in Michigan was a state record in 1936.
Ooh, that's hot. In Michigan? Ooh.
Yep.
That creates controversy right there.
Here's one for our Italian friends. 1939. Good old Frank Sinatra makes his debut and sings "From the Bottom of My Heart" and "A Melancholy Mood."
And we listened to that before the show, and it was sort of creepy. I felt like I was in the movie Shawshank Redemption, sitting in the car getting ready to commit the murders I didn't commit.
Yeah, anybody take a listen to that song and let us know your first reaction. I get a little creepy. I could picture that being in a haunted house, with
it was creepy.
couple mannequins everywhere.
What was it called again?
It was called, hold on, now you're making me look. "From the Bottom of My Heart," I believe. Yeah, "From the Bottom of My Heart."
Frank Sinatra, "Bottom of My Heart," huh?
Yep.
Let's
see, I got a couple others. 1962, 500 Indonesians parachute onto New Guinea.
Oh.
Can you imagine seeing that?
So they just randomly fell out of the... They just fell out of the sky.
1960.
For no reason.
Gee, I wonder if they were taking over New Guinea.
I don't know.
They just thought, hey...
I mean, can you imagine
1962.
sitting in your backyard and then all of a sudden...
Pterodactyls are flying in?
A bunch of people just fly in and they're just there.
Yeah, weird. That's a good one.
Yeah,
1962.
that is a good one.
Arnold Palmer won his second U.S. Open. Arnie P. Now you drink a lot of his tea and all that stuff.
Yeah, the Arnold Palmer.
You love Arnold Palmer. Yeah.
Iced tea, lemonade combo. Yep, it's good though.
Let's see. Last one here. Let's do one more. 1985. The Live Aid concert was simulcast or broadcasted at the same time from Wembley Stadium and JFK Stadium. 1.5 billion TV viewers.
And that was to get. Isn't that when the whole group of artists got together and wrote that song? "We Are the World" or whatever. Was that?
I think so. That was to raise money for, or was that the Africa? Was that to raise money for?
That might have been raise money for Africa, but this one with Freddie Mercury was more or less like opening the door on gays coming out, and the AIDS epidemic really kind of kicking off. That's the way I think of it.
Yeah, it was. I think a lot of the money went to famine in Ethiopia.
Yep, but I think a lot of people use that concert as their symbolic, reasoning for becoming comfortable at that
Freddie
point.
Mercury, what a great guy. I don't know, he was a good singer. A couple birthdays. Want to do a few B days here?
Yeah, we like to do birthdays here, so go ahead and bust out a couple of birthdays.
1950, President of Taiwan, Mei Ying Yo.
Whoa.
I think it's Yo. It's J-E.
How you say happy birthday in his language? We'll have to look that up.
You just get one of those things, go...
Yeah.
They know what they're talking. Those are probably banned there.
They probably get put in jail. 5 years federal pen.
Your whole
Don't
family,
laugh.
too.
They get in trouble for laughing.
There's a lot of weird laws. If you really look. Yeah. They hold you accountable over there for sure. And your family.
Go live over there for 24 hours if you think it's bad here, people.
Yeah, a lot of respect. You make a mistake, and I think they hold your family accountable too. A lot of times.
Well, there are some countries that if you are sentenced to a prison term and you die during that prison term, that one of your family members has to go in and take your place to complete that prison term. So you think you have it that bad over here and you want to start fights and riots and shit like that? Well, go live in another country for a minute and then come back and say that.
Yeah, you'll
realize how free we really aren't, right? Or we are, or whatever. Anyways, moving on.
1935, Jack Kemp was born. What a Buffalo boy here.
Jack Kemp. Yeah, he played a little QB for the Bills. Wasn't that good?
No. He was a politician, Probably brought the team together, divided the other half. You know,
he
how
was
that
more
goes.
of a to be a face of the franchise because it was his name, and he was brought in. He did his job to the best of his ability. He really didn't win anything while here in Buffalo, but when you talk about the Buffalo Bills, that name always seems to wander up into the conversation. Jack Kemp being a former
It does.
Buffalo
2010, George Steinbrenner died at the age of 80 on today's date. Yeah.
That I remember. That was like a mafia boss died.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what was the show that Seinfeld had a lot of him on there, right? Remember?
Oh, yeah. He was part of the show. Oh, yeah. He definitely had his hands in that. Steinbrenner was a big part of New York. We don't have to probably go into detail. I watch The Sopranos all the time. Everybody's got Price.
Yep, that's true. And let's see, last one.
What is-
Harrison Ford was born 1942.
Oh.
Want to go through a list of some of his movies? Jeepers.
Oh, I used to love Harrison Ford. Yeah, let's see what we got.
Indiana Jones.
And the
That was a big one.
Suck today. Got him. That was Temple of Doom.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
No, that's Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, see, I'm not a movie
goes to
buff
New
like
York.
you.
Yeah, it's Crocodile Dundee Part 2. Goes to New York and some guy pulls a switchblade and he's like, that ain't a knife. What's a knife? And he pulls out
No,
like fucking
that's
machete.
awesome. Blade Runner? I never saw Blade Runner.
Blade Runner? Yeah, I think that was Wesley Snipes.
Oh, it was Harrison Ford. It could have been Snipes. Star Wars?
I wasn't a Star Wars guy, but I know he was in that.
The Fugitive?
That one was a good one.
American Graffiti?
That was a good one.
Let's see. The Call of the Wild?
Call of the Wild was good.
I think that was about, what, him and a dog, I believe?
The dog was named Buck.
Oh, come on, Buck. Air Force One?
Air Force One, very, very good movie. Kind of cool in a way because he plays a president that's not a pussy and fought his way back. So,
Yeah. Real
Maybe we're-
American. Apocalypse Now?
yep, nope, never saw that one though.
How about Patriot Games? It's the last
Patriot
one.
Games, yeah, I've seen that one. Yep,
I don't remember anymore. I'm sure there is.
yep. Well, his main ones you did come out with. So, the best one out of the list there, I thought was A Fugitive.
Yeah, I liked Air Force One myself.
Yeah, him and what's his face played good counter actors. Him and was it Tommy Lee Jones? Tommy Lee Jones and him, yeah. Tommy Lee Jones was the marshal that was pursuing Dr. Kimball in the movie The Fugitive, and at the end of that movie, a big message that it basically the message of that movie I take is that you can trust the police if you work with them. But that movie was made in the 80s, so a lot's changed.
Yeah, back when there was a little bit more respect for the police.
Yeah, well, a little bit more respect for somebody that knows that they're innocent and they're running amok, running loose to prove that they're innocent, and U.S. Marshal actually taking that time to look into it and say, hey, you know what, this guy is innocent, and he's leaving us a trail of cookies here to prove his innocence. So that whole movie is actually really classic. Everyone should watch that movie. It is a pretty good movie. Good actors, good screenplay, good movie. Realistic too, very realistic.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
He is.
That's for sure.
Definitely. He's old and crotchety now though. He played in a movie where he was almost ready to retire news figure. He was one that would go all over the world into the wars and do the newscasting, and he was a Hall of Famer, and he was finishing his career on this like daytime talk show, and this real young girl just out of college was hired to take over to create that show and bring it back to its glory days, and she had to deal with him, and he was a crotchety asshole, and she ended up working it out with him. It's actually a good movie. I'll have to look that one up, but it was a recent one in the last like 5 years.
Nice.
Yep, Harrison Ford plays probably himself, being just a crotchety asshole, and the movie portrays a award-winning, record-breaking newscaster.
Kind of like Clint Eastwood can just play himself.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And he probably does.
Yeah, probably. Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
So what do you got going on? Anything good?
My book cover is almost complete. I've been working with the young lady who's actually local here in the Buffalo area who's been working on my cover. It's pretty good. She's doing good. We're working back and forth. It's hard to explain because you want something and you explain the vision, and then the picture comes back, and then you got to look at it and be like, that's not really what I wanted. And it goes back and forth. We got 4.5 months to, really chop it up. And then we get the back cover to do. And the book is in editing right now and publishing. So it's all in the works. It's just now we wait and go back and forth and get ready for the marketing strategies and start telling everybody about my book and the arrival date. I'm excited about it. It's been a few years in the making. So
Well, that's pretty good. I could go right into the audience questions if you want, because that was one of them.
Oh, that's right. You do have the audience questions. Well,
I
go
do.
ahead and do some audience questions.
I appreciate everybody who sends these in as well on
definitely.
our Facebook group page, and the questions on the YouTube as well. we read them all here on the show, and we're happy to spout a few of them off here. Here we go.
Definitely.
So the one here that you kind of shook my memory on was the one from Martha from Atlanta, and she says, "I'm new to the show, so forgive me if you have already answered this, but Frankie J was talking about his book. Just wondering what inspired the book."
What inspired the book? It's actually a good question. It's weird because I don't know if it was inspiration or just something therapeutic for me. I live alone, and I got through a lot of rough things and went from working two jobs, one full, one part-time, to nothing at all. And I had so much dead space to fill, and I just started journaling. I've been journaling for a long time. I decided to take that journal and kind of start twisting it into a book, and picked apart in my early life and just kept going from there, and it turned into a book, really, if that answers the question. So
nice. Yeah, I think it does. All right, here's another one from Ian from Snyder. That's kind of around our neighborhood.
Yeah, it's around the block. Hey, Ian.
If either of you guys found $100, would you return it or keep it?
Where would I find it? Details.
Let's say on the ground. Let's say you go to a store, you get out of the car, it's on the ground.
I mean, for me, if I get out of the car and there's nobody else around, no one parked there or wherever, and there's $100 laying on the ground, and I look around and I don't see anybody that could have maybe dropped it, I'll grab it.
Here, I'm gonna spin another question. Let's say you get out of the car, you grab that $100. Somebody grabs that $100. They look at you and say, "Is this yours?" What do you say then?
If somebody asked me if it was mine, I would say, "No, I just found it here." I would tell the truth.
No. What if they found it and they looked around and saw you and said, "Is this yours?" Would you say yes? That's mine, or would you say no? That's not.
No, probably not. I probably wouldn't, because I would think it was one of those people doing a real test. Those people that go out now and they'll say, "Hey, can I borrow $1 for the bus?" And some guy will give him his last $2, and all of a sudden he hands him $500 and gives him tickets to a basketball game. I'm always afraid that some clown's going to be reeling me. So, no, I would probably say no, that's not mine.
Yeah, I've done both, honestly, in my life.
Hey, we all have. I mean, I've found money. Everybody has. I think it's a sign of good luck. If you pull up into a parking lot and you happen to pull into one of 400 spaces that are empty, and that one space has 120 in cash laying there, is that a divine? Is that supposed to be there?
Yeah. I mean,
did someone leave it there for someone? Yeah, someone say, "Hey, I'm going to leave this on the ground for somebody that pulls up and they can maybe use it." I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, it's true. I believe you were about to say divine intervention, and we have a question about that. Do you guys believe in psychics or divine intervention at all?
I do. I believe in divine intervention. I've experienced some weird shit. I can go back to the one serious car accident I was in with my 14-year-old dog. He was standing in the passenger seat, and we got T-boned at about 80 miles an hour, and his side was the one that got impacted. And he was 14 and standing, and he ended up under the glove box, not moving, and I was out of my driver's seat into the passenger seat. And when that accident happened, I still remember it, Tio. It went in slow motion, and it was an orange, smoky haze, like Matrix style shit. Yep. And then when the car came to a stop, it like real life kicked back in, and then I could smell and see the smoke from the accident and know that I was in an accident, and I had glass in my face. But when we got impacted for that, whatever, that
seems
duration
like forever.
it slowed right down. It was real matrixy, and I'll never forget that. In that orange haze, and it was like a flashbang.
I can relate. I was in an accident like that. I think I was going about 80 and a 25 on an road with a car full of, we were young at the time, and we flew off. I could see my rear view mirror, the back end of my car lift up, and I just spun around. We went off the road into this deep ditch and went right underneath a tree branch. I remember closing my eyes. Everyone in the car was quiet. As soon as we stopped, we got out. The tree branch was right over my car.
Oh yeah.
Everyone was, we could have. So I believe everything does happen for a reason. That's why you have to, I don't know, somebody once told me this, come at everything with some kindness, because you never know when your time is up. And
No,
I do believe things happen for a reason. Are they predetermined? I have a tough time. I, I don't know. I don't know if they're
not
predetermined.
everything is divine intervention. I mean, I bought a T-shirt the other day that says, "Learning is what would it say? Learning is a." It was like learning is an adventure, basically. You learn things as you go, and as far as divine intervention, do I believe in it 100%? I don't buy into it to the fact that I will hire a psychic for a reading or anything like that, but I I have myself and there's other people that will testify to this. I have this ability. I almost empathic with. I can see. I can sense if something's not going to work out right. Almost like something
Hmm.
seems weird or something's different,
Off. Yep.
or I should stay home, even though I know I can handle my. Should I stay home? And usually, when I make those weird gut decisions, something bad happens. So I believe in being able to know. Is that or is that awareness? That's where people get confused. Is it awareness or is it empathic or whatever? I'm not a
Um,
psychic, but I can predict that some things are going to not work out.
I,
Can't
I
you?
I feel I'm the same way too. Yeah, I've gotten feelings. I've made judgments off that feeling, and they ended up being correct more times than not.
Lucky for
So I
you.
do think, yeah. Well, yeah, it's not always funny, but
No, it's not, and that's the
but
thing. Like I've made some sacrifices in the last 5 years that if I wouldn't have, I wouldn't be talking about a book right now. I wouldn't be doing this show with you every Monday and Thursday live here on Fireside. I mean, there's so many different ways I could have went, but I believed in what was telling whatever spirit or whatever the hell you want to call it was telling me do this or it'll never be good. Like there was something in my head saying as much as it hurts and much as you want to fight it, you can't. You have to hit that switch and start again. So, I mean, you can even verify. Would I be here talking about a book if I wouldn't have made the changes I made a few years ago?
no, no, not at all. And it's good that you set goal or you made goals and then achieved them,
Yep.
which is what it's all about too. Because and you could never stop making goals. You always have to strive
No.
to do better, and it keeps yourself busy.
Yeah. I mean, some things don't last forever. Relationships are one of those things. And statistically, the second and third marriages are worse than the first. So I'm going to have to go with the numbers these days, and numbers don't lie. I'm perfectly capable of being solo. I'm happy at this point. I don't need a relationship. Would I love to have one that was, you know, balanced correctly? Yeah, sure. But I'm a lot to handle, and whoever, I mean, so let's face it, I'm different, and I just do better alone. I do better alone for now. I'm not in any search. I wish all the women that I've ever had relationships with the best, but they'll take that and say, yeah, okay, whatever. You're still a piece of shit. Fine. I'm way past that trail of having shit thrown at me. I'm good. I've made peace with the things I've said and the ways I've behaved. And did they end good? No. That's why I'm alone. So, but I'm making the best of it, and that's what you can do. Make the best of what you get left with, or what you. Every choice you make, there's gonna be changes, right?
Hmm.
If I choose to get up at 6 a.m. instead of 8, obviously I'm gonna do something in the day sooner than I would, no matter what.
And I'm going to be
Anytime a
tired
change
earlier
happens,
than yeah, I'm going to be
yeah,
tired earlier or
yeah.
whatever.
I
Yep.
mean, I retired before I was 45, and I mean, there's not a lot of people that sit there and say that. I didn't retire by choice, though. It was more by I didn't have a choice. It was either retire
Medical.
or go to work and die working, and I'd rather die happy than working. So I don't have a lot of money, but the money I do have, I budget well with and make sure that my things are taken care of. I pay my bills. I pay what I owe Uncle Sam, whatever you want to call it. But people out there that want to make these hard decisions, and if your gut is telling you every day to break it off with somebody because bad things are happening and they have been happening, they're not going to stop. You got to make someone's got to stop. Someone's got to walk away.
Yeah, easier said than done.
It is. It's hard because when you're the one making that decision, someone has to, right? So one of the two powerhouses in a relationship has to stand up and say, "It's not working," and cut the cord and walk away. The other one might not like it or will be upset with it for a long time because it wasn't on their terms, even though they
So,
wanted to do the same thing. They
yeah.
wanted it over. They wanted it to be done with. They hated you and everything about you because they didn't end it the way they wanted or the way they intended. That's what keeps a lot of things going too.
Yeah,
So,
and there's always going to be a bad guy. Not always,
yep.
though. We did do a study there that some
Yeah.
relationships
Well,
do end up good, or I mean, end on a good note.
if
That's a
people
lot
can
of
agree,
maturity there. Yeah,
well, that's just it, maturity. And most people that have bad relationships got into relationships when they were immature, and
yeah.
a lot of their immature ways have gone to their mature ways, and they're still handling things like they're a child. That's all they know. I mean, for a
Jealousy.
while, having a bad relationship, that's all I knew. I didn't know how to make it better because there was never trust, there was never loyalty. It was always, you know, whoever was the strongest would survive it. And, I've had bad breakups. Things don't end because they're good, man.
Yeah, it's probably harder these days to find somebody who's actually true to you and that you can actually trust because it just seems so easy
Hmm.
to cheat or to do anything that the other
Very easy.
person might question.
Well, because everyone right away, if you suspect that your significant other is doing something, you ask significant other right away. They go into you're the narcissist, and they've been programmed with all these things on how people behave. I can't just be a guy inquiring if my girlfriend's banging some other guy. That makes me a narcissistic, sociopathic control freak.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, think about it.
you're
I
right.
can't even ask the question, are you having something with somebody else? If I ask that question, that's a manipulative maneuver and people swinging around on you. And that's another reason. Some people, like my mother, she couldn't get out of the marriage even if she wanted to. She got offered opportunities to get out a few times, I'll never forget, and she didn't because it would be outside of her, I don't want to say comfort zone. She wasn't ever comfortable, but it was the only thing she knew. And people don't want to leave
Hmm.
things they know,
They
good
know
or
we're
bad.
a product. Yep, we do the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
You become a product of your environment, and sometimes it's uncontrollable. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's uncontrollable. You can't control your emotions sometimes, even though you know the way you're behaving and the things you're saying and the way you're saying them and to who you're saying them to. You know they're horrible, horrific, and you would kill somebody if they said somebody if it was coming back, but it happens. That's why I'm always in favor of if a relationship is bad, it's not going to get better. I don't believe that therapy can help some marriages.
You know.
Don't get
No.
married on lust.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on, one more question before we go
Oh
here.
yeah, definitely.
We can end on this one. Favorite bands or groups? What's your favorite?
Jeez. Well, considering I've
Tons.
been to hundreds of concerts in my day, hair bands, Paula Abdul, MC Hammer, Alice Cooper. I've been to so many concerts.
Milli Vanilli.
No, I could just put them on a yeah, they got caught live. Lip singing. I not that kind of stuff, but I've been to hundreds of country concerts, 90s country. I don't know, like
Country,
classic
huh?
rock. Yeah, country. I like
I've been
90s
kind of
country.
getting on the country band lately. I don't really like to
If
admit
you
that.
go to a country concert, you'll be sold.
Well, yeah, that's a different story. I
Yeah.
can listen to any outdoor music, to be honest. I love
Yeah.
outdoor
I like
music,
concerts.
jazz.
Concerts are great,
Saxophone's
aren't they?
probably my favorite instrument of all time. If I could play the saxophone, dude.
Oh, I do have a local announcement here.
Where you learn to
Here
talk like that.
right here in our hometown, Buffalo, New York, town of Amherst, they are on Monday from I think the hours of 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. Don't quote me on the times, but it's a local pizza place here called Queen City Pizza. They are giving a free pizza slice and drink to any and all first responders, police officers, and
Oh, well.
things like that. If you come in with proper ID, they'll give you a free slice of your choice and a drink, from what I read, while supplies last. But I wanted to give a shout out to the Queen City Pizza place.
That's pretty
cool.
good.
Yeah, I think
So-
it's pretty cool when businesses will do that, because I do feel there's a lack of respect for first responders.
Yeah, no, thank you for your service, all of you guys. I'm going to go hold on with the question. Rush, Dave Matthews, Wu Tang. and I just like all live music.
Tom Petty, I cried when he died, so Tom Petty would be my favorite. That was always my favorite show. Rusted Root and Tom Petty when they come to Buffalo.
There you go.
Tom Petty put on a good show, man. If anybody hasn't ever saw him, you watch a recording of one of his concerts. You'll get the vibe just from watching it. It was amazing. But I'll end the show with one of my quotes that I had for today, because we always like to end the show here with a quote. And the one I got is, "Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much." And that
Very
is
true.
by Oscar Wilde. Yep, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. So with that being said, everybody, thanks for being here. If you have any questions about this show or any other shows, send us an email to info@rawlive.com. Go to our website, rawlive.com, where all of our information is for our YouTube channels, Facebook group, Raw Chat. Join that group. Everyone's been awesome there. And again, if anybody wants to be on a show, even send us an email, and we will definitely respond. But we appreciate everyone being here. Thanks for all your support. We will be here again Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live right here.